Okay, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Paul, if you want to go ahead and take roll call, certify the quorum, and provide proof of notice.
Sure. All right. So we have Joe Mulcahy, Keith Colverton, Frank Canistra, present. And on Zoom, we have Brian Macadon and Uwe Roper. So we have a quorum and the meeting can proceed. And notice was posted in accordance with Florida statutes.
Okay, thanks, Paul. I know Paul sent out the prior meeting minutes and then he modified them. Did everybody get a chance to review those? I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Guys, nods and yeses. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and jump into the president's report. First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. As we head into the holiday season, I want to start by wishing everyone in Pelican Marsh very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and best wishes to you and your families for a healthy and happy New Year. Overall, Pelican Marsh continues to be a very attractive and engaged community. Participation across social, athletic, and special events remains very strong, and that's a direct reflection of both the quality of the programming and the willingness of residents to get involved. This holiday season really highlighted the generosity of our residents. Through a number of charitable initiatives, Pelican Marsh donated hundreds of gifts to children served by the Guadalupe Center and Grace Place, supported food drives for St. Matthew's House and Helps Outreach, and collected essential supplies for the Shelter for Abused Women and Children. We also hosted a blood drive that helped save 30 lives and raised over $1,000 for the Patty Baker Humane Society through the Canasta tournament. So the level of participation and giving truly speaks to the character of the community. In December, residents gathered for our Sports Fan Fun Friday Mixer, which combined community fun with holiday giving through the Guadalupe Center Toy Drive. The turnout and energy on the courts was terrific. We also successfully hosted a Pro Tennis League event in November, and the level of play was outstanding. And we just want to thank the many volunteers who helped pull this together, everything from setup, parking, to on-court support. Their efforts made the event a real success. Looking ahead, the third annual Pickleball Dink and Glow tournament returns on January 22nd and continues to be one of our most popular events. I also want to recognize Jerry Hoffberg for his continued volunteer leadership, particularly his work teaching pickleball to the children of Grace Place and organizing a recent pickleball exhibition. That kind of involvement truly reflects the best of Pelican Marsh. In terms of long-term planning, we've made important progress related to the community center. We've reached agreement in principle with the Pelican Marsh Golf Club regarding the creation of a new employee parking area across the street from the community center. That agreement is currently being finalized and papered with our respective attorneys. Once completed, it will allow us to begin planning for a potential expansion and modernization of the community center, subject to the community approval. To support that effort, the board has established a board-appointed building expansion subcommittee. This group is not yet formally met as a subcommittee, but will begin meeting shortly and will focus exclusively on evaluating options and making recommendations related to the community center expansion. The subcommittee members are Keith Congleton, Bob Gianetti, Brian Macadon, Joe Mulcahy, myself, Peter Olin, Fiona Prentice, and Patrick Webb. We have already held an initial meeting with an architectural firm to begin discussing early concepts and opportunities, and that input will help inform the subcommittee's work as it gets underway. As we move into the new year, our focus remains on maintaining a strong sense of community, supporting great programming, and continuing thoughtful, transparent planning for the future. On behalf of the Pelican Marsh Foundation and Board, thank you for your continued involvement in generosity and support. And again, happy holidays to everyone. That's it for my president's report. Paul, I'll turn it over to you for the manager's report.
Okay. Set up here. Okay, so activities really started to pick up around the community center with season now here to give you kind of idea how busy it's now getting. I got the charts I'm going to show you up on the screen, show you just how much activity levels have increased over the past few months. So as you can see on the first, so the charts show the blue bar indicates the number of individual unique players. And then the red bar shows the actual number of plays or visits or uses of that activity in the month. So you can see in pickleball how much it's increased, especially in November from September. October, then how much it's exploded in November as far as getting busy with the number of players and the number of plays.
Bigger number.
Bigger number. So
2141.
2141. It was last month, it was 1491. So you can see it's almost doubled. Over in tennis, you can see again the number of players. Didn't change much in October from November, but you can see the number of plays definitely increased from 1453 from last month until November, it went up to 1794. In the gym, you can see the number of times visited in the gym has increased drastically, especially in November. You can see it's almost at least $1,500 people more using the gym. And then we have group fitness. Number of people participating in the exercise classes has really increased. Spa services almost doubled. This is pretty much the impact. We've hired 3 new technicians and agents to service for massage. So with that number, they're doing a good job. And so this increased the number of activity in that department. And then we have the total activities and bocce use. You can see how it's just increased also. And we expect these numbers just to increase more as for December, especially January and February, our highest participation months in season. Okay. The last remaining project we had over the summer to complete, it was the installation of a patio with shade sails for seating along west side of Court 7. We've been told that approval for permitting should finally be completed by this month, where we can finally get started and get the patio installed, hopefully no later than mid-January. We are waiting still for Comcast to roll out their new program where when you call Comcast from the phone number you have registered with them on your account, that you'll be able to reach a live agent without having to go through all the automated prompts that's required now, which we all know is very cumbersome. We've been told this program should be going in effect sometime early January. Once that's confirmed, I will email the residents with detailed instructions how to find out what their phone number is they have registered with Comcast, that they should use to call Comcast, and what number to call Comcast to make a service call if they need the service. As reported at last month's meeting, I again want to remind the bocce and tennis players to bring an extra pair of shoes with them if they can. If they plan on going into the community center or courtside bar area after play, we're still seeing a lot of clay being tracked in from the tennis and bocce courts in the community center floors and on the floors of the courtside area. And this clay is stains the floors, stains the tile and the grout, and it's harder to clean up, and it just causes extra additional work and expense for us to spend to clean it up. We did send an email out on Monday to the community to remind people of this topic, and we just appreciate everyone's cooperation, helping us keep the facilities clean and looking their best. As a reminder, talking on your cell phones is not permitted while you're in the gym. We've had some recent reports of residents having drawn out loud conversations, which is disturbing to others trying to work out. So if you have to take a phone call or call somebody, please step out in the hallway by the locker rooms if you need to use the phone. And we just appreciate your cooperation on this issue. In the upcoming January Pelican brief you'll be receiving in a few weeks, please take note of the electronic consent form that will be emailed to all the residents who have not yet signed up for electronic voting. We have about 25% of the members who have not yet signed up for the electronic voting. We encourage every homeowner to sign up for this electronic voting when you receive this consent form emailed to you, because it just cuts down all the printing and postage costs that's made for us to send out and saving us thousands of dollars each year. Plus, it's really makes it much easier for the staff to collect and track the voting proxies when they're electronically done on the voting.
Paul, is there a way that we could identify who those people are and send a reminder to that group?
So that's what's going to
Specifically?
happen. So we have it scheduled. I think it's on January. I think it's the 16th. Just that group will be sent an email saying, hey, you're still one of the last number of people who have not signed up. Please sign up. But we can
And
email reminding people it's coming.
Paul, one more thought on that was, could we reach out to the HOA presidents and ask them to remind people that they're in touch with in their community for e-voting?
Sure. We can ask them to, with their connection, with their email, with their residents, they can also ask them to remind them too. Yes.
So maybe if they're not reading our emails, maybe they're reading emails from their local HOA.
Okay.
And we know everybody that's represented by each one of the communities that we can get that out to, right?
I don't. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. Let's see. As you mentioned earlier, Joe, a big thank you to everyone who donated this year for the Guadalupe Center, who supports the families in needs. As always, Pelican Mars was very generous, and just to show you how much in generosity Pelican Mars is, I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is a picture here of just before they came to pick up the toys, and Lynn was there along with this is a representative from Guadalupe Center, showing all the toys around the tree. And actually, the picture doesn't encapsulate all the toys we had. A lot of toys were behind the tree too. So, again, great turnout again this year with donations, and we appreciate it, and they appreciate it as well. Lastly, the staff and I want to wish everyone a happy and wonderful holidays and New Year celebration and safe travels for those visiting family and friends up north. And that's my report. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Paul. Brian, next on the agenda is the treasurer's report.
Very good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Just give Paul a second to pull it up there. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Talking to you from cold St. Louis, where we got down to -8 wind chill last week, but have warmed up a little bit this week. So total operating surplus through November was $22,000, which is $64,000 worse than budget. Almost the entirety of that $64,000 is detailed below in the operating expense notes we have there. Just as a reminder, we always budget a little surplus each year to cover anything that might come up. Regarding the operating expenses that are greater than budget, we've talked a lot in the past several months about the income tax expense for the past several years. That was something that we learned about throughout our audit process during the year. We are now budgeting for income taxes related to our interest revenue on a go-forward basis. Building repairs and maintenance were over budget by $7,000. We mentioned to you in the past that this is related to mostly work in the parking lot to restore some of the lights that had incurred damage from tree roots. So Paul had that corrected. HVAC expenses were over budget by about $12,000. And we had mentioned in the past also that we have now installed a new lead system to do periodic maintenance in our lead lines within the HVAC system that hopefully will reduce these expenses going forward. Utility expenses were over budget as Collier County increased their rates for trash and water effective in September. Those rates are reflected in our 2026 budget. And lastly, food and beverage operating costs were over budget. The main items making up that difference is the new point of sale system that's been installed at Courtside, as well as the new bar that we purchased to support special events. Speaking of food and beverage, Courtside sales were $982,000 through November. And through the first couple of weeks of December, they have exceeded $1 million, which is a major threshold for us in terms of our support of the Courtside restaurant. The sales are down 1% from last year, but you may recall that the first 6 months of the year, we were down substantially. So I'm taking this as an overall win, looking at the growth in sales for the last 6 months and hopefully going into the future. Lastly, resale fees. 73 homes have been sold through November, generating $548,000, which exceeds budget by about 12. So as you familiar with, we first fund the replacement fund, and then any additional funds go towards our capital fund, which is sitting pretty healthy right now. Just a couple other items of note. We are in the process of signing our 2026 insurance for the foundation. We anticipate that's going to be about $123,000. We'll probably be signing that in the next week or so. That's pretty much on budget, what we budget for 2026, and that insurance policy has been reviewed by the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee also reviewed a investment strategy or a preliminary investment strategy for 2026 last week, and has made recommendations about how to invest our funds as we receive them in January. That's all I had, Joe. I don't know if there's any questions.
I don't have any questions. Any of the board?
No.
Any questions? Any questions from the community? Okay.
As always, the details are available online for your review.
In case everybody doesn't know, Brian's now a grandfather. So congratulations, Brian.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for the report, Brian. Stay warm. Next up, we have the committee reports. Let's go ahead and start with court sports. I don't see George on the screen, so we'll skip that and I'll come back to that in a minute. Chris, I've got some notes here and I know you're in the room. I don't know if you want to speak to any comments on court sports. I'll give you a chance to think about it, and I have the notes here, or I can just read them. Okay. All right. Keith, update on CDD county projects oversight?
Yeah, not a lot of change there either. It's kind of quiet time of year, I guess, but they got the Galleria Road paving done. Everybody's probably seen that by now. Still planning to start work out on Vanderbilt, or some work ongoing out there at this point, but the real work will get started early in next quarter. And then that'll be followed by airport pulling Q3 2026. So that's kind of the big stuff on the agenda right now. It looks like it's on plan. We do still want the county to come in and give us a community-wide presentation so that everybody has an opportunity to see exactly what's planned, when it's planned, and how it's going to be done. And they'll have an opportunity to ask questions. We have not been able to close with the county yet on a date. Paul's got some dates reserved for that, but we'll hope to get that on the calendar here in the next couple of weeks so we can get plans in place for January rollout for the community.
Okay.
Is that right?
All right. Thanks for the update. Frank, any update on bocce?
Basically, ditto for me too. Not a lot going on. Bocce Winter League registration ends Friday. There's electronic signups to make it easy. And I can tell you, if you haven't signed up by now, you're probably gonna be, because I had a dedicated person trying to get ourselves in, and we're on a waiting list. And like the rest of the courts, as soon as it started at 12 o'clock, they were filled up in a hurry. So, but there's still time up until Friday. So we're anticipating at least 60 teams this year, competitive and social. But if you haven't been back there yet, try to put it on your things to do list. It's fun, it's competitive, a great bunch of people, and overall, we always welcome people back there watching too. So other than that, everybody have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and that's all I got today.
Okay, Uwe, I'll turn it over to you for fitness.
Yeah, so for fitness, we have one item that I'll discuss down below. It's 10.2 on the spa rates. So that's one of four items sort of on discussion within the fitness committee. Another one has been housekeeping. I mentioned that at the last meeting. And there's been quite a bit of progress made by Patrick and administration to deal with some of those housekeeping issues. So that's a very positive note that was discussed at the meeting last week. There's a piece of equipment that the fitness committee has been discussing. Patrick's been getting quotes on it. It's a heavily used piece of equipment. They've not quite requested a budget for it yet, but I expect something will be forthcoming from that. What is a big item for the fitness committee is the new subcommittee. So we have two people from fitness on the new subcommittee, Joe, that you mentioned, which is the subcommittee to look at building expansion. I think the fitness committee is pretty excited about this. It would affect fitness the most. So obviously, this building expansion would involve more space and more room for fitness. And as everybody knows, the gym is fairly tight. But it would also mean that we need to look at what we want to do with our entire fitness facility. And this is, what do we want spa to look like? What do we want the classrooms to look, not the classrooms, the clinic rooms to look like? What do we want the gym itself to look like in a new configuration? So it's pretty exciting to have this new subcommittee formed, Joe, that you spoke about. And I know that Patrick and Fiona are pretty excited to be on that committee. And there's been some discussion of that, and it's great. So I'll wait for item 10.2 to come up, and I'll finish my little spiel at that time.
I missed that last comment. What did you say, Uwe?
Oh, for the last item, so for the spa item, I will wait for agenda item 10.2,
Okay, gotcha.
and then I'll discuss 10.2 separately.
Okay. That's what I was waiting for, and I thought, okay, then I heard what you said. All right, quick update to court sports. I just looked over the notes. Most of the things I covered in my opening remarks about all the pro league and sports, the Grace Place, and a lot of the involvement with those. The only real item that was not discussed in my opening remarks in terms of all the events was that the committee had recommended to the board a project. I mentioned it a month ago, of installing a water fountain with canopy behind pickleball courts 4 and 5. We met as an executive committee, and the number was quite large, 25,000. And I know we received a lot of feedback from the community about these, $25,000, $20,000 projects. And we wanted to have an overall plan before we start investing more and more into some of these one-offs. And so we didn't put it on the agenda this month. We certainly can put it on the agenda in the next month or so. We just felt like with all the planning that we have and the parking lot and the project we have on Court 7, that we would leave this off at this point and bring it up. We didn't say, the executive committee was Brian, myself, Nathaniel, and Paul. When we put the agenda together, I just wanted to address, we just didn't just didn't think we should put this on the agenda, given that we got so much feedback from the community. Let's have an overall plan before we continue to do these one-off projects. Any questions or comments about that? Okay.
Just one comment, Joe, about the Court Sports Committee. By the way, I just joined a few minutes ago. Apologize for being late. I lost track of time. Um, One of the things that I noticed going back and forth in one of our emails recently was about the clay getting all over the inside of the buildings and whatnot. And one point that I made, and I made to Chris Diorio, and I asked him maybe to talk to Paul about, just want to mention it so it doesn't get lost. Um, Potentially looking at different shoe washers because the ones that we have keep breaking, it seems, and they're expensive. And there's all this plumbing that's involved with them and all these drains and crap. And I sent a link to Chris that there's some other options that we have that I've seen other tennis facilities use, which is basically just like the kind of thing you see outside a swimming pool before kids go in the pool and wash the grass off their feet, where you step in this little water thing and you brush them off. Um, Less expensive, less maintenance, I think more effective. Just wanted to make that brief mention. That's all.
Okay. Any other comments, questions about the court sports? Let's see if I covered any committee. Long Range Planning Committee, I'm the liaison. We haven't had a meeting in like maybe a month or two, and a lot of that has to do with we presented the long range plan to the community, and we're working through these iterations of the parking, and the architectural plans, et cetera. So I'm sure that we'll have a meeting, get back together once we have more of an idea of what we're going to be able to do with respect to the improvement of the community center. I think that's it for the committees. Thank you for your updates. New business, Brian, I'll turn it over to you. 10.1, approval to renew Foundation's $500,000 line of credit.
Very good, Joe. For several years, we've had this line of credit in place for any catastrophic events. It's a relatively low cost item. I think, what is it, Paul? About $300-400?
25.
Okay, so I do think it's a good policy for us to have this line of credit in case anything comes up. So before I make the motion, I'll just see if anybody has any questions.
This is something we've had for a long time, and every year we re-up it, right, Brian? It's not very expensive to have it, and it's just there for emergency purposes.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. No
Okay.
questions?
There's no questions, then if I apologize, I have to make a fairly lengthy motion just to have the wording correct as how the bank would like it. So I motion to approve renewing the foundation's line of credit for $500,000 with First Horizon Bank for the purpose to cover any unforeseen expenses that may occur that cannot be covered by the budget. Repayment of the line of credit would be through member assessment and/or borrowing from the capital or reserve funds. Joe Mulcahy, board president, and Brian McAdon, board treasurer, will be the authorized agents to sign the documents and request draws for the line of credit. That is the motion. Can I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right, that's approved. Next item up, back to you, Uwe. 10.2, proposal to increase massage rates from 90 to 110 per 60-minute session.
Yeah, I just want to give a little background. So SPA is doing very well. As Paul mentioned in his briefing, we have found some new spa massage service providers, which is great because demand is high for spa. And spa is also an activity that's not only growing and popular, but the fitness committee wanted to look at it. And the fitness committee went out and looked at what other rates are in the community, did a sort of a comparison survey, and found that our rates are a little on the low side. And they haven't been raised since 2019, which was another reason the committee wanted to look at it. The committee found that Others are charging more, and we could charge more as well. But it's not just about wanting to charge more, it's that we want to be able to attract good service providers, which means we want to have a rate that's fair and reasonable, allows us to attract good massage therapists, and also continue to provide a quality service that will continue to be attractive to the community. And tying back to the proposed expansion, maybe look at what do we want our spa services to look like if and when we do a building expansion. So the recommendation from the committee has been to raise the fee from 90 to 110. That seems like a fairly big increase. I've had an email from someone saying, "Boy, that's a big increase." It is, but it hasn't been raised since 2019. It's been almost 6 years. It's less than 4% per year, which is just slightly higher than inflation. And it is very much comparable to what the market is charging. So I've received this recommendation from the fitness committee to raise our rate, and I'm fully in support of it. But before I go any further, I would love to hear what other board members or residents have to say about it.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search on it just to see what the going rates were, and it's consistent with what we call high-end resort spas. I think we consider ourselves a high-end resort slash spa in terms of pricing massage. It's a nice facility. The attendants are, you know, well skilled, and the expected typical range is from 100 to $130. So I think
And George, to add to that, some of the spas are charging an hour rate for 50 minutes. So they leave themselves 10 minutes of prep
we're getting
time.
dressed and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So our fee is actually for the full hour. It's for 60 minutes, not for 50 minutes.
Hmm.
Something I forgot to mention, but sometimes when you see those published rates say they're for an hour, but it's for an hour that means 50-minute massage and 10 minutes prep times.
Well, and
But
that,
thanks
that can
for
also give us some, if we perhaps get some blowback on this, it might be able to give us some wiggle room to say, well, you know what, we may have to drop them, but then we're also not gonna do 60 minutes. We can do 50 minutes or something like that, right? But I don't think we're gonna have to. I don't think our clientele I don't think they're gonna be bothered by this.
Any other board member comments, questions? Any questions by the community? Okay. You
Well,
want
if
to
there's no other questions, I'd like to make a motion. And the motion would be that effective February 1st, we raise the fee for Swedish and deep tissue massage to $110 per hour.
okay, can I get a second?
I second.
Give a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Takes care of 10.2. And then finally, we have two design review requests. There was a discussion regarding 9360 Sweetgrass Way. Homeowner submitted a request to replace roof tile with a dark charcoal color flat tile. Tile sample was provided. The committee was unanimous to recommend the approval. The second was a discussion regarding 1325 Little Blue Heron Court. Homeowner submitted a request to replace their driveway pavers with a chestnut buff charcoal blend from Tri-City Pavers. That sample was provided and the committee approved that as well. If I can get a motion or I'll go ahead and a motion to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So that takes care of the new business. Any other board member comments? Outside of what we have on the agenda? Okay. Any resident comments before we adjourn? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Adjourn.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Hi.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Merry
Merry
Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Enjoy.
Enjoy the weather, Brian.
Where are you, Brian?
Like 83 degrees here today. Kinda
St.
warm.
Louis.